police department, the two officers, I saw them on TV, it shook them up very strongly. They're still trying to get over it now because they're the initial one that went in there and found found the girls alive. So I know this experience to those policemen was something special, and to all of the Cleveland police officers and the FBI that once they found out the girls was alive and made the initial contact with them and brought them out of there. I understand that. And I give you all the kudos in the world for that. But on the Art McCoy University radio show, we keep it real. And in my opinion, the Cleveland Police Department did not do a good job in searching for them girls. Now, that's my opinion, all right? And the reason I can give you that opinion is that's the reason Black on Black got into, even met Amanda's very mother, Awana, and even met Felix DeJesus and Nancy, Gina DeJesus' family, is because they say the police ain't doing nothing and the police ain't helping them. So come on out here and help us. And that's how we got involved from the very beginning. And the same thing with the darn FBI. The FBI is sticking their chest out saying, we did all this, we did all that. Y'all ain't did nothing. Prove it to me. The girls freed their darn self. That's how the rescue take place. Oh, look, hate me. You understand? Hate me, all right? Hate the messenger, all right? But I'm here.
Hello, Mr. McCoy.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Demetrius from Cleveland.
Demetrius.
Yeah.
Demetrius, I bet you ain't even a registered voter.
Oh,
Shame
yeah,
on
I'm ready to vote. Sure I am.
Show me your card. This is live. You don't understand this technology we got in this is the new AM. I'm looking at you, Demetrius. Take your voter ID card out and show it to me. Don't start studying. I'm looking at you, Demetrius. I didn't know you dressed. How you dressed over there, Demetrius? You didn't know you were gonna be viewed?
Oh man, I hope this is no females looking at me because I'm not fully dressed.
I'm looking at you, Demetrius. Demetrius, but at the matter, you dressed or not, take that voter registration card out and show it to me.
Okay, I'm showing it to you right now. You see it?
No, where I'm blind. Where's it at?
That's the middle finger.
No, well, it's right here, but maybe we got a bad connection with the camera.
Demetrius, hang up on Demetrius. Demetrius ain't even no registered voter. No, you ain't. Look, I'm not talking to you. If you ain't no registered voter today, I don't want to talk to you, okay?
I'm talking about voting. I am.
No, you can't talk about it. This is about doing the work. I'm tired of y'all talking about registered voter. Show me your card, Demetrius. I'm looking at you. Hang up on it. Look, I hang on myself. I don't want to talk. They talk. I don't want to talk all the time. I'm getting too much talk and not enough action. I don't want to talk.
That's right.
I want to talk. All I had to show me your card, Demetrius. You go next time. Go register to vote. Next time, go register to vote. You know what? You got it. Go ahead.
One thing is that folks say that African Americans are lazy and don't want to get out to vote. Another group of people are saying that African Americans haven't had a reason to vote because we vote, and things don't get changed in our communities. I have been all around the state, from Toledo, Columbus, Cincinnati, Youngstown, Warren, and every community kind of looks the same. The streets are bad everywhere. Other infrastructure is bad everywhere in our communities, African American communities. That's what I've been saying. So, when you look at someone like Danny Glover and Nina Turner coming in and saying, hey, we need to change things and stand up and, as African Americans, stop voting for people who are going to do what's best for the party, but let's vote for someone who's going to do what's best for us, someone who doesn't have, these interests and these lobbying groups working in their pockets, because I hate to say it, but a lot of politicians do, but it takes a lot of money to run for office. You got to have literature. You got to pay folks to do all different sorts of things. So, it takes a grassroots campaign to get in office and then say, hey, I got in office without anyone's help but the people, so I'm going to do what's best for the folks who helped me get in office. But at least we have a vibrant downtown, and this is kind of one of the most populated urban areas in Ohio. The other areas are even worse. So when you have a state house that has folks, representatives from each part of the state, they're going to send, what little money they get out there. And, we're not getting much here because we have, this big urban area. But, parts of Ohio where African Americans live look even worse than Cleveland. Some parts.
You're kidding me. What? Go ahead, sir.
Now let me ask you about in Alabama when we had the high voter turnout.
Yes, sir.
What does the role of media play into this? Because I think that might be the key. Because when the media wants us to turn out, we turn out. But when we don't hear anything about the candidates on TV, we don't turn out.
You're right. And we'll see, the thing is, when we don't hear much about the candidates on TV, we don't turn out. Now, it costs, TV, you're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars a week to get on TV. So, a lot of folks get that TV money, from these interest groups who could care less about us. So you have Alabama where the guy, was dating young women and openly did it. And, the black women there were like, oh, no, we're not doing this. And they got out to vote in very, very large numbers.
90%, 95%.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, it was huge. But that was such a anomaly. I mean, well, not anomaly, but everyone knew it. It was in the media all the time. This race, but that was a congressional race, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So you have, the congressional races here are pretty quiet. There's not really much going on. The gubernatorial race, you have some folks there who've said some questionable things about African Americans, and you have some African American candidates. But then you also have African American groups not endorsing African American candidates.
216-578-1490, streaming live all over the world, www.newstalkcleveland.com. Who's on the line? One line open, call now. Listen, Kathy brought up a point about this was the 50th or some anniversary of the voters' rights. I think I heard us say that right, the 50th anniversary of the passage of the Voters' Right Act, something like that. I just heard on the phone. Google that, find that out for me because it's very important. That's a very important topic because if that is true, that the Voters' Rights Act was passed that many years ago, then our community need an ass kick. You understand? If that is true, our community, can I say that on the radio without getting put off? Yes, sir. Talk to me.
1965.
1965. And you telling me this is where we've come since 1965?
What is it, Justin? 12% voter turnout? 17%?
You know just where I'm coming from. You all, this is a disgrace. I'm talking to the black community. I'm going to get on the white community and all others also. But right now, the black community, 1965, people died, people got hung, people fighting for the rights for people to vote, and you all won't even get off your ass and vote. Let me make it plain today. 12% makes me mad. 10% makes me even worse. 20% makes me even worse. Go ahead, brother.
The Indisposable Democracy documentary that we did, we picked up a young lady of, I think, 85 years old. She walked from East 131st to Shaw Middle School to vote. And it was almost nighttime. That's a good, 5 streets. She walked by herself in the middle of the neighborhood. It was getting dark. And she went out to vote, and she basically spoke on why it's so important to get out and vote. And that was amazing just to see. East Cleveland, as we say, has a historically low voter turnout, but yet this almost 90-year-old woman with a cane walked by herself. We gave her a ride back, but she didn't know she was getting a ride. She had already walked there. So the older generation, we got to seek counsel, seek wisdom from them, and learn how to go about the future. Just because we have all this technology, that don't mean we know everything. Sometimes talk to your elders. So
wait a minute. There's a lesson. You listen. This is common sense radio.
Yeah.
You understand? We're lazy. You understand? We just it don't take no it don't take no wisdom to realize how lazy you are if you can't get your ass to the poll. I'm just keep it real today.
That's
you understand?
Right, yeah.
I'm keep it real. You understand? Yeah. Ain't no darn excuse. I mean, she just lit a fire under me with this with the what? Voting Rights Act of 1965, that's what it is?
Yeah, 65.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. Our people was hung, lynched, had to guess how many bubbles in a bar of soap. You name it. You all are pathetic. Some of you black folks
Voter
make me want to puke.
all of that stuff.
Y'all make me want to puke. I wish I could change my skin color sometime. You understand? Keep it real.
Take that back.
I'm not taking nothing back. I'm not taking nothing back.
5 minutes.
I'm not taking anything back. You understand? I'm not taking anything back. My job today is to let you all know that ain't no excuse for you not getting out to vote. You understand? Yeah, that's right. You understand? My mama, you understand, North Carolina woman, 4 kids, she figured out how to get out there to vote. You understand? They had lines of people in the rain, the slit, the snow, the boiling heat to vote. And you all gonna tell me in Cleveland, Ohio, East Cleveland, Ohio, you all are lackeys. Y'all done let the man brainwash you all to think that your vote don't count. Well, I'm gonna tell you how your vote count. I'm gonna tell you how your vote count. You remember a few years ago they had the speed light, red light cameras in Cleveland. Oh, they gave me that blues. Man, every time I look, I was getting a speed light, red light camera coming down 140th, going towards St. Clair. I don't know how they keep trapping me. You understand? And man, I was about to lose everything because I owed so much money on the speed light camera. But a few of us took action. Most of you, oh no, we can't do nothing about that. Frank Jackson and the city, that's a multi-million-dollar corporation. We little poor folk can't do nothing about it. But you kept calling me. You kept calling Black on Black. You kept calling and saying, well, what I'm supposed to do about these tickets I just got in the mail? $150 ticket, $120 ticket. I got 9 of them. They want their money. What I'm supposed to do? You understand? They might take my property. You understand? You know what they do? They always want to do this. They want to complain and cry and do nothing. But you know what it's about, young brothers? It's about the work. It's about the work you put in. It ain't about all this talking on the radio. It ain't all about this complaining. Oh, I got these tickets. What you got? It's the work. It's the work that you do. Get what you got coming. And you know what happened? 216-578-1490. 216-578-1490. We'll be checking back in with Seymour simultaneously. But it's the work that you do. And guess what? They told us that it was impossible to get enough votes to go up against the man and get rid of those speed light cameras in Cleveland. But guess what? We said we'll be Robin Hood. We said we'll be Robin Hood. And what we'll do is we'll wound up stealing from the rich city of Cleveland and giving it to the poor residents that's crying about, the drivers that's crying about these tickets. And guess what? We went to work. We went to work, petition by petition, signature by signature. And before they knew it, we had enough petition to go to City Hall. They didn't want to even let the petitions in. Oh, no, this can't be real. But they had to let them in. They put it on the ballot. And the amazing thing about this whole thing, out of all the precincts in the city of Cleveland, we won them all. It's never been done in history. Everybody was tired of those darn speed light, red light cameras. And we won by a landslide. But let me tell you this one last story before to get my voters out. As we went around the barber shops and places, put it on your Facebook page, speed light, red light, as we went on, man, we can't win this. Them rich folks ain't gonna let us win this. My vote don't count. I said, try it. Just try it. See if your vote count. You understand? I know a lot of times we think our vote don't, but try it. And we encouraged them and got the word out, and they began to get the momentum. And at the last moment, the mayor of the city of Cleveland and his lackeys, they said, man, them poor people, them little people is making this thing work. They might win this thing. And then at the last hour, they went out and brought a lot of signs, y'all remember, trying to combat what we had done. But it was too late. We had rallied the people. They said they was going to the poll, and when they went to the poll, we won. That's why why you don't have no more red light cameras in the city of Cleveland? Because your vote counts. But in order for your vote to count, you must go out and do the work. Brother, I need more music. Put Charlie Wilson on. Put number put number 1 on. Number 2.
Let me say this right quick.
Go ahead,
on
brother.
On our Facebook page, we posted an article. He was a neo-Nazi up until 2014. The guy up for city council in Maryland, in the city of Maryland, he was a neo-Nazi, and he was voted into city council, and he got reelected.
Okay.
And he's up for re-election this year. This is in Maryland, but this just goes to show why you should know the people on your ballot. Justin, you've been covering a lot of this stuff.
Oh,
I'm sure you got a lot of stuff to say.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is Eric here. We were just at the Board of Elections with Danny Glover, and Nina Turner was there.
Danny Glover?
Danny Glover was there with Congressman Kucinich and Councilwoman Tara Samples at the Board of Elections, and they were, hitting on all those points. We got to keep pushing. We got to push forward. We can't give up. Like Brother Arvin Quay was just saying, you can actually make a difference, a tangible change in your community if you get out and vote. Don't let them tell us that our vote doesn't matter and that, one vote, what's one vote to 10,000 votes? No, that's not true,
Wow.
Yeah, and I think it's, our ancestors have, like Art said, have died. They were whipped. They were spit on. Women went through a lot. And they never gave up, even though they were denied a few times, they never gave up. And so when I know it's frustrating for us, we vote and then we still don't see any change from the politicians that we put in office. But if our ancestors never gave up, why should you?
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. No doubt about it. The Art McCoy University Radio Show, the University of Common Sense.
Speaking of neo-Nazis, we got one right here in Cleveland on the station that you used to work with. From the 3 to 6 guy, he's a neo-Nazi, he's a white supremacist, and I mailed you the flyer and a transcript to prove it.
All right, okay, all right.
And I want to thank you. I want to call for a boycott of the neo-Nazi sponsors. He needs to be dealt with. He's been getting away with that crap for years. And the black community should be sick and tired of being disrespected by people like him.
All right, I hear you loud and clear, brother. That's something that we can work on, okay?
Okay.
All right, love you so much.
All right, love you too.
All right, no doubt about it. 216-578-1490, 216-578-1490. As we
look at yourself. See, this is the problem with black people. Now, when it comes into voting, that voting means a lot in the ghetto area. Some people don't make as much money and they don't think the way you're thinking on voting. The first thing they're thinking about, wages, believe it or not. Sometimes they put different things of thinking about jobs also. Maybe it's a negative for them to think that way. So now when we're voting, if we're not associating within ourselves, looking at the amount of money we're making in certain areas that are real ghetto. Now, the government has a lot to do with it. Also, this is my opinion, because you never know who knows who knows. And it is about money, and we might not never know as being black people. That's why lots of them are getting into these government seats, judges and whatever. They know who knows who knows. That's
I agree.
how it's going to be, and I'm going to check out.
All right, thank you, ma'am, for your phone call.
Sam, others,
Todd.
correct. The issue isn't getting a good candidate. The issue is getting the population to understand the value of learning civil procedure in the study of civics, so that they can pick the right topics, so that they can pick the right issues. It's not the candidate. Barack Obama and Donald Trump won the same way on imagery and sensationalism, because an uneducated population that could have educated themselves well did not do so and decided to vote on sensationalism and popularity. that's what you should be talking about, the study of civics.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that. I think the issue now is that we, as a state, don't have enough resources to, I don't know, the resources aren't being pulled towards education, to educate us properly, especially our communities. And you're absolutely right. They did hit on sensationalism, but that's a part of politics. It's like the, the media, the media plays a huge role in it, for cities that have large voter turnouts, that's where the candidates go. They chase the votes, they chase the money, they chase the media.
And the media plays on a voluntarily ignorant population. So be clear as I exit this phone call, it's not as much that the educational system in, let's say, this state right here, is not supporting the study of civics as much as it is that people that have an understanding of what is needed in neighborhoods are not responding well to the education that they have. And that's the truth. You can educate somebody to the highest degree, but if they don't respond well to what they know, there's very little you can do for them. And then you find yourself picking politicians based on sensationalism.
Real quick though, how do you get someone to engage in the civics process when, if they voted in 2004 and they got potholes in front of their street, they voted in 2008, they got more potholes in their street. Voted in 2012, 2016, it's even worse. Street might be closed down. How do you get those folks to see the importance in voting when they vote year after year and nothing gets done?
For those that are receptive to learning, you educate them and make sure they're clear to the point where they can read it back to you on how those potholes grew in the first place, and then that moves people forward. But you got to get them not so much to focus on the problem as much as how the problem existed in the first place. And it's very rarely because of a lack of voting. It's primarily because of lack of activism that starts on a little scale before things become big potholes.
So can we get, because here's my issue. I think the schools, schools are losing resources, Schools are closing down. The kids, there's some, in some states, their kids are sharing books. So I think that's going to be up to our community, up to, folks like us, or the callers, to get kids together and teach them those principles, because our, from what I've seen in our school systems, unless you have those great teachers who are out there, going the extra mile, that isn't being taught.
The problem in the school system is a result of a weak parenting system surrounding whatever school you find is a weak school. It's not as much teachers as much as the lack of the parents and the collective neighborhood support of those taxpayer-funded neighborhood public schools. They're nonprofits. They're your most readily available nonprofit. In any neighborhood that you go into is your neighborhood public school, and they're structured by the government. They're built based on the population, and they're funded by the government. And if the neighborhoods would support them better, and when you find neighborhoods that do support them better, the schools are better, consequently the neighborhoods are better, and there's a stronger voting population because they have more appreciation for the public works. Ain't that right, Art?
Todd, I want to ask you a question. And I was having to let you and this young man dialogue because he was asking you some questions. I wanted to see how you good at asking questions. I wanted to see how you answer them. Did he satisfactorily answer your question, or do you not? Talk to him.
Well, that was interesting. So I think we were kind of hit on the same point. It seems like it goes back to the family unit, because it doesn't seem like our answers, especially in talking about the African American community, it doesn't seem like our answers are going to be solved, with politics or the school system. I think it's going to have to be us. And just to end, Frederick Douglass said, "It's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men."
Well, the answers are in politics, and the answers are in the school system, and the answers are in parenting. But if you start with, if you're going to make parenting an issue, which it is, and we have to acknowledge that that's to plan children. If you don't do a good job of planning a child prior to conception, you're setting yourself up for a situation where you have to double time to keep up. And
Todd, listen. I like your conversation, but Todd, let me ask you one question. Are you a conversationist, or are you one of those people that do the work?
No, I do the work, Art. You don't know very much about me past me calling into your broadcast. So,
well, okay. I never see you doing the work. That's all I ask. I mean,
Art, can you tell me what I look like right now?
The proof is in the pudding. No, I don't need to know what you look like. I want to know about your work, by the work. And when I see the work that you're doing, I'll say, oh, that's him. You understand? I don't want know what you look like. I want to know what you look like by your work. And that's what's happening in our community today. Everybody talking, got all these great plans, but are they doing the work? Are you doing the work, Todd?
I absolutely am, Art.
What are you doing? In East Cleveland, we had a sellout mayor, Gary Norton. Yeah, he know I call him a sellout to his face. And good little con man. And I supported him. I thought he was a young man that was going to be able to uplift the city and with young ideas, and he became one of the biggest sellouts in the whole wide world. And he was willing to sell the city out for a few pieces of silver and a few pieces of gold, and it's proven. What I'm saying is proven. And on top of that, one time when we really knew we had to get him out, he went before some white folks, and he told them, say, hey, I got a good piece of land in East Cleveland. Black folks don't know nothing about how good this land is, but I got it for you, and you come and get it. We knew that was the last draw. Yeah, we got it on tape video. So this, what I'm saying is no joke. And so shortly after that, we put a recall on him and the council president, Wheeler, of the city of East Cleveland, and booted them both out. You said, so that's what the young man is saying. That's what we have to do. If they don't do right by us, then we got to get rid of them. Who's on the line? Talk to me. So Brother Bibbs, you're predicting already that it's too late. It's going to break the record on one of the lowest turnout in the history of our city and county.
Yeah, we did our work today, Art. All 10 of the groups that you helped us put together for last Saturday, they were down at the Board of Elections today. It was a small turnout for the early voting, for the souls to the polls.
Yeah, I know you're talking about an issue that is close to your heart, this primary election that is coming up on May 8th. And as a former employee of the Media Relations and Community Outreach Department of the Board of Elections, a political science major at Ohio University, I just wanted to give some information to the voters about this primary. First off, and this is just some illumination for the voters, first off, they're already predicting a low voter turnout. But this is something that those on the east side, those in East Cleveland, Collinwood, Glenville, they're represented by the State House District 10 and State Senate District 21. The Democratic Party of Cuyahoga County in this election is divided. Since Bill Patman, who is the state representative for District 10, was term limited, it's a wide open election for that state representative seat in District 10. So you probably have maybe 7 or 8 different candidates running for this election. It's a free-for-all. Also, you don't have a straight-down-the-line endorsement for any one of the candidates. Just to give you an example, T.J. Dow, who lost the election for his Ward 7, is now running for District 10. And then you have maybe 7 or 8 other candidates. Mayor Jackson is endorsing maybe one candidate. Congresswoman Marcia Fudge is endorsing another candidate. So you don't have a straight-down-the-line endorsement for any candidate. And then you have candidates that people have never heard of who are sending flyers to people's homes. Since I'm a consistent voter, I've probably gotten 10 flyers for one candidate constantly. Everybody is trying to get that seat. So you don't really get a clear indication as to who is the best candidate. Everybody is just trying to get an endorsement from a city councilman or another politician. So the voters really have to be careful. They need to go online, Google.
So now, Brother Bibbs, who was on the election board years and years ago, and Brother Greg Anthony, and our young host that's on the show with us today, all of them are predicting that this might be a record-breaking low let me repeat that, a record-breaking low turnout for the voters. In other words, some politicians are laughing at us because they know they're going to get right back in office because they're laughing at us. Ha ha! I can hear them laughing now. You understand? Man, it is something. It is something terrible. And you know what? Man, I don't know what to say, man. Listen. I think I might as well get off this subject because. But I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start me a poor people political party. Understand? It might sound funny, but I'm